Well, as you might have guessed by the lack of show this evening, I still have no power at my house, but luckily, my neighbor was nice enough to run an extension cord over for us to charge our phones and things like that. So, of course, the first thing I did was plug my computer in and turn my phone into a modem so I could bring you guys the combat sports menu for this upcoming weekend. Even though I might not have power and I might not be able to watch any of these fights, that doesn't mean you guys can't. So, that being said, there is all sorts of punchy kicky goodness for this weekend. Kicking things off first, just like they almost always do every weekend, one Friday fights from the other side of the world, 106. This one kicks off bright and early at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Then we go to what is predominating the biggest coverage of the weekend, boxing this weekend. The first one kicks off at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday. That is Fatal Fury in Times Square. That is Garcia versus Rolly Romero. That is Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. Teofimo Lopez versus Barbosa Jr. There's all sorts of good fights on the Times Square card kicking off Friday afternoon. Then, not to be outdone, closing out Friday evening, one Fight Night 31 over on Amazon Prime. This one from Bangkok still over in Lumpinee Stadium, but it is over on Amazon Prime, so it's a little easier for most folks to watch. Like most often they do, this one comes out, they're opening the card with 2 MMA fights, 1 grappling match, and then 5 Muay Thai and 4-ounce combat gloves. I absolutely love that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Going on from there, though, we kick off Saturday with Canelo versus Skull, kicking off at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, 5:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. This card is not as stacked. Saruche versus Manguia is a good fight as well, but not nearly as stacked as the Friday night Times Square card is. So it should be interesting if boxing is your thing. There's plenty to watch this weekend. That brings us over to 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, which kicks us off, I believe it's UFC 107, from UFC Vegas 107, rather. Sanhagen versus Figueiredo. This card is fairly decently stacked. There's a lot of contractual obligation fights on here, but there's some good matchups. But that is not the end of the weekend either, because then at midnight, 12 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time Saturday evening, Ryzen, they're still naming cards, Otoku Matsuri. Interesting matchups. And then Sunday evening, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Inoue versus Cardenas. Boxing all over the combat sports coverage this weekend, but plenty to watch. Don't miss out. Hopefully the show's back next week. Keep tuned.